human brain is the most sophisticated operating system known to exist. It has roughly 86 billion neurons and trillions of synaptic connections via a vast labyrinth of axons, dendrites, and other subtle clefts. Although it weighs only 3 or so pounds, within its enfolded compound resides the most remarkable feature in the known universe: consciousness. Consciousness is the supreme mystery that enlivens all that we know about the world around us. While most of the time our awareness is projected outwardly in order to help us better survive and adapt in this evolutionary experiment writ large, there are those mystical pioneers who have turned inwards to discover where this very consciousness arises from and explore what possibilities it portends. Humans have developed a variety of tools to alter their awareness and make it possible to venture into hitherto uncharted territories of the mind. One of the most ancient techniques that have become increasingly popular over time, particularly in the modern era, is a meditational practice centered on listening to subtler and subtler inner sounds. It is most well known today as Shabd or Nad yoga. It is intriguing to speculate about how listening to inner sounds first originated among early humankind, long before it became codified as a practice. There are several hypotheses that offer tantalizing suggestions, including early near-death experiences, sleep paralysis, extended periods of sensory deprivation, chemical alteration, and more. In near-death experiences, NDEs, for instance, a significant number of patients reported hearing a beautiful melody. I heard what seemed like millions of little golden bells ringing, tinkling. They rang and rang. Many times since I've heard those bells in the middle of the night. Next, I heard humming. Music surrounded me. It came from all directions. Its harmonic beauty, unlike earthly vocal or instrumental sounds, was totally undistorted. It flowed unobtrusively like a glassy river, quietly worshipful, excitingly edifying, and totally comforting. It provided a reassuring type of comfort, much like a protective blanket that whispered peace and love. I had never sensed anything like it. Perhaps angelic would describe it. And then I heard the music. It was a tone so sublimely perfect that remembering it still brings me to tears. I knew then and know now that I was hearing the symphony of angels, the song of the universe, what some have called the music of the spheres. All thoughts melted in its melody, and everything else ceased to be of any importance. Sleep paralysis is often accompanied by a severe feeling of immobility, a numbness where one feels as if frozen. According to a 2011 meta-analysis, Prevalence of Sleep Paralysis, Sharpless and Barber combined more than 30 studies on sleep paralysis prevalence from a variety of cultures and groups, giving them a sample size of over 36,000. They concluded that approximately 8% of people experience sleep paralysis, rising to around 28% in high-risk groups, those that have a disrupted sleep pattern, and up to 34% in those suffering from psychiatric disorders such as anxiety and depression. While at first glance, one may wonder what sleep paralysis has to do with meditation or yoga, a close analysis shows that it may well have been a triggering point among early humans for a deeper psychic exploration. This is precisely because sleep paralysis is often accompanied by extremely vivid visions that are usually taken as real and not merely dreamy hallucinations. In some sense, every night we sleep, we will undergo varying degrees of sleep paralysis, since it serves as a biochemical way to inhibit our bodily movements while dreaming. As Alina Bradford explains, during rapid eye movement, REM sleep, the brain has vivid dreams, while the muscles of the body are essentially turned off. While sleeping, the muscles are unable to move so that the person won't be able to act out dreams with their body. Sleep paralysis happens when a person wakes up before REM is finished. The person will be conscious, but the body's ability to move hasn't been turned back on yet. There is an intriguing parallel here to Shabd yoga meditation, since one of the very first signs that the technique is working is a growing numbness and blissful sensation in the lower extremities of the body. In the article, The Science of Going Within, exploring the neurobiological basis of Shabd yoga meditation, we hypothesized that Shabd yoga practitioners who experience the onslaught of numbness in their extremities, which shouldn't be confused with paresthesia, the sensation that one feels when one's foot goes to sleep, during deep meditation, are experiencing a biochemical process that is similar to what happens when we are asleep, and certain neurochemicals manifest to inhibit bodily movements. In other words, Shabd yoga induces a conscious sleep paralysis of sorts. If this is correct, we should be able to ascertain whether or not gamma-aminobutyric acid and glycine levels are operative. If this hypothesis is true, then it may well be that what happens during sleep paralysis, which occurs randomly and unconsciously, served as a catalytic portal for some to see if they could induce similar experiences consciously while awake. This is not to reduce Shabd yoga meditation merely to biochemistry, but rather to show that the two are not mutually exclusive and may actually correlate in quantifiable ways. For instance, we argued in The Science of Going Within that if Shabd yoga meditation is indeed a neurobiological process, then there should be telltale signs of such that can be quantified by accurately measuring the levels of neurotransmitters, such as gamma-aminobutyric acid and glycine, in the brain while one is feeling the sensation of conscious paralysis while meditating.